The human user has to be empowered to program complex simulated and real-world scenarios alike. We present SwarmScript Into3D, a new approach for programming swarms of objects in 3D space. Here, you see the programmatic relationships of a swarm of simulated quadrotor drones coordinating their flight. It only takes us 4 steps to create such a model. First, we load a 3D asset of the object we want to program. Second, we augment the 3D asset with behavior. Third, we set up the behavior in accordance with our envisioned model. And fourth, while simulating, we can dive into the behaviors of all components and change them on the fly. Let's take a few programming steps in our new Unity 3D based version of SwarmScript Into3D. From a list of operators, we choose host reference. This operator will provide a reference to the specific object whose behavior we are programming. We drop the operator in the simulation or programming scene. We drag and drop another operator named shortest path into the scene. This operator yields the direction from a referenced object hooked up to the upper left and the closest object from a list hooked up to the right. We connect the host reference operator to this very specific shortest path operator, and we drag and drop another operator of type action, which means this operator will actually change the simulation when it gets triggered. For that, we choose the move operator. We utilize its 2 inputs, move target and move object, to let the programmed object fly along the calculated shortest path. We also increase the movement speed from 1 to 2. Let's wrap the behavior we've programmed into a higher level operator called a circuit. In order to do so, we drag and drop an empty circuit operator, and we select and move the new behavior into this specific new circuit. We dive into the new circuit and rearrange its inner operators and connections to meet our expectations. In particular, we want to access that one inner input that is still not hooked up to the outside world and make sure we'll find it easily next time we access it. The list of objects we pick the closest from is supplied from the outside. Hence, we add an input connector to funnel through this information to the inner operators. And of course, this outside information has to be hooked up accordingly. Next, we create another circuit that simply passes its reference to the outside world. We will connect it to the just programmed moving circuit and see how the code runs. Again, we need to funnel through the inner behavior of that newly built circuit to the outside world, hook it up to the moving circuit, and we are ready to go. Now we want to apply the programmed behaviors to an abstract viral infection simulation. Therefore, we first rename the right-hand moving circuit into virus, the other one to cell. The virus may infect any of numerous cells in its vicinity, and we make it choose the closest one. In order to choose from several cells, we change its input connector to become aware of all cells in the environment. Let's visualize the notion of numerous cells by duplicating the cell's circuits twice for now. We still need to hook up the new connector to the inner operators of the virus. And with the new hyperconnector, the virus becomes sensitized to all cells if just one of them is hooked up. During play, only the closest cells affect the state of the virus, which is why we don't display the programmatic relationship at this point. Now, arbitrary 3D geometries can be loaded and associated with individual circuits. For this demo, we have imported geometries of generic epithelial cells and a virus. After populating the scene with epithelial cells, dropping a virus and automatically hooking them up, we will see how the virus moves, infects, and destroys the closest cells, and how it spreads to infect the whole cell population. This concludes our brief introduction to SwarmScript into 3D. Thank you for your attention.